Welcome back. Now for our first conversation of the day, the Mobile Telecommunications Company, MTC, achieved profitable growth and increased its infrastructure investment during 2022 as its customer-centric digital transformation strategy delivered value. Now the company's revenue has grown from 25.6 million in 2001 to 2021 to $50.9 million in 2022. Nona joined by Mr. Thinus Smit from the financial director from MTC. A very good evening, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you.
All right.
And good evening to all the viewers.
All right. Now, kindly just give us an overview of MTC's financial performance for the year 2022.
For the year 22, that was up to September, MTC had good results to report. For us, it's important is that financial reporting is not the only, but we create value. So I want to start to say where did we create value for the financial year up to September. And for our customers, we invest 514 million into our infrastructure and systems to ensure that we got the correct capacity and capability within the systems to deliver to the need. Our customer satisfaction survey ended up at 74%, which was done by an independent company, and compared to the previous financial year, that is 74% as well. So on the employee or our ambassador side, we pay 412 million in salaries and 8.8 million in training and development. Looking at the shareholder side, that's where a lot of people have been interested. At this point in time, reported at the end of September 5,524 Namibian shareholders within the company, and we paid a dividend of 519.4 million for the financial year to those shareholders. On the community side, it's with the 081 Everyone project, we cover 98% of the population, and we also invested 11 million in projects that covered education, poverty evaluation, and then 1.4 million in the ATTP center. So
right.
This is, in a summary, some of the highlights, not compared to the financials.
Okay. Now, in comparison to last year, how well did the company perform, and also what would you say attributed to the growth?
If you look at at our revenue grew by 3.4%, and our total income grew by 3.7%. So that, at the end of the day, resulted in a 2.9 billion revenue. That's 100 million revenue growth year on year. The main contributor to that is the increase in our prepaid market. Customers spend more. Our average revenue per user increased by 6.4%. And then on the other side is our cost control, that we make sure that we spend cost wisely and that we optimize our procedures within the company. So our net profit grew by 6.7% compared to the previous financial year. We reported an EBITDA margin of 51.2%, and it's similar than the previous financial year, which was 51.3%, and our net profit margin grew from 26.6% to 27.4%. So in a nutshell, MTC reported, let's look at the numbers itself, a profit of 793 million compared to 743 million. So on our profit margin, it was a 50 million growth.
All right. Now, MTC has changed gears in terms of, business model and has been striving to move from just being a mobile telecommunications operator to a digital service provider. How has the institution been in regards to this term when it comes to strategy?
For us, it's very important that we analyze and keep the finger on the pulse of MTC. We realize that we reached maturity on the mobile side, and that we need to look at other revenue streams. And that's where we want to offer and be the digital enabler or the service provider that as a one-stop shop. So that's not only making the calls using data, but that can also facilitate on enterprise side where we move into fiber to the home, fiber to the office. We implement a Namibian cloud where we can assist customers on the cloud side, storage, and that creates new revenue streams, because at the end of the day, if you didn't invest in new innovative products and services, you will stagnate and your revenue will not grow as we did in the past.
All right. Now let's look at the dividends. MTC is one of the best performing companies, especially in terms of finances, and its contribution to the government coffers ranks as one of the highest. What do you think attributes to that?
At the end of the day, net profit is directly linked, and our policy is that we will declare a minimum of 70% of our net profit as dividends.
All right.
So to dig a little bit on the deep dive into the dividends itself, to give perception thereof, for the financial year under review, MTC paid 519 million dividends, which are 32 cents that was declared in December and paid in February. That was now in 2022. And then an interim dividend of 37 cents that was declared in May and paid in July. So if you add up those two numbers, it's about 70 cents. If you look at the current share price of MTC, it's $7.02, $7.03. So as a percentage there of the return to the shareholders was in approximately 10%. If you look at the listing price of $8.50, it's a little bit below 9%, and that's after tax, which is quite a reasonable return.
Right.
What is very exciting is that in December, the 5th, that was Monday, the board declared another 42 cents that will be payable in February as dividends to the shareholder.
All right. Now let's talk about how you manage your risks.
How do we manage apology?
The risks.
Important is that first you need to identify your risk, and you must be open and transparent about your risk. We got a risk register, and we identified the top 10 enterprise risk, and then we put mitigation action into that, and on a quarterly basis reported to our audit and board on what happened with that risk, where are we, and what is the mitigation factors.
All right. Now, what advice would you give to state-owned enterprises on how they can maximize their returns?
As we're very proud that we're the first SOE that's been listed on the Namibian Stock Exchange, to give some advice. What is important is that you can only spend what you received. So your revenue and your products that you sell, it's such an important component. That gives you the cash flow that you can honor, for an example, salaries, rental agreements, and all the others, that sort of a fixed cost. So at the end of the day, tackle the issue on generating the correct revenue, good cost control.
All right.
That's also a very important figure. So if you can receive a lot and you spend a lot, then at the end of the day you don't have zero. You end up at zero. So good cost control, and that you ensure that at the end of the day that you maintain what you have and that you add on top of that.
All right. Now, Mr. Smit, as we close off our conversation, we know that MTC's strategy is mostly geared towards providing digital services. Now, with that, what are the plans for 2023, and what can the nation expect from the company, especially in terms of, service provision, and how will this in turn support, the public, and by also looking at the financial outlook?
So looking at the year ahead, 2023, we're already in quarter one because our financial year started in October, so we're now 3 months away from our starting of our financial year. But let's summarize. We're looking to increase our revenue. And increasing our revenue is to protect what we have, and that is the mobile base, but also adding new revenue streams. There's a lot of talks about fintech, and MTC will move into the fintech space as well. Then on the cost optimization, it's important, as we quickly touch on that, that we need to control our cost, that we do service excellence to internal as well as external customers. Our customers, it's important for us because if the customers don't use our services, our revenue will not grow. And then research and innovation, you can look forward to new offerings in the market, which is quite generating from our innovation center, the HTTP center, in collaboration with NUST.
All right. Mr. Smit, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we wish you all the best for MTC and also for the great things that you've been doing for the community.
Thank you.
All right. That was Mr. Thinus Smit, who is the Financial Director from MTC, giving us an update on the profitable growth that MTC had throughout the year 2022. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more.